What's up, risk managers? My name is Nasdaq Anonymous, and I'm addicted to the NQ. And boy, is she one hell of a drug. And welcome to tonight's NA meeting, where we'll discuss the economic data for the week, analyze today's session, and from that, build a winning game plan for tomorrow's price action. And if you haven't done so already, you can show your support by subscribing to the channel. And with that said, let's jump into the charts now. This is tomorrow's data. Be mindful that all times are in Central Time. And we have a small block of news scheduled for tomorrow, so let's jump into it. At 8 o'clock, we have some housing news. At 9 o'clock, we have the consumer confidence and the Richmond Fed for the month of August. And at 12 o'clock, we have the 2-year note auction. And now that we know what to expect, let's jump into the charts and create a game plan for tomorrow's price action. This is the block of price action that we traded during today's stream. And today was definitely a trend day. And as I analyze the charts, I see about 4 clues that's going to be essential for helping us find the best trades going into tomorrow's stream. So let's jump into it. During the overnight session, the Nasdaq opened slightly bearish, with price trading 115 points to the downside before the bulls found support. However, once the bulls found support, price traded back into a key level of supply. And if you look closely, you can see where the bulls failed to rotate price higher, and the bears stepped in and sold the retest. And from this failure, the Nasdaq traded 339 points to the downside, trading below Sundays, Thursdays, and Friday's lows from last week. And after price swept the liquidity below these lows, price traded within a 136-point range until the close of the session. And based on this price action, here's what I'm going to be looking for. So the day was definitely a day for the bears. After price failed to trade above this key area of supply, the selling pressure from the bears was too much for the bulls to overcome, because price trended to the downside the entire first half of today's session. And based on how we close the session, tomorrow's open will dictate the direction the market trades in. Now, if the bulls fail to hold overnight, I'm going to be watching their reaction when price trades within a range between 538 and 520, because this is where the bulls found support earlier in the session and formed the bottom of this range. But if the bulls fail to protect this range and price trades lower, then I'll be watching the reaction of the retest of 445, because 445 has previously acted as a key level of support, and from this area of support, price traded all the way back up to 20K. So I do expect if the bulls are going to step in, this is the area where they'll do so. But if the bulls do hold overnight, then I'll be watching the reaction when price trades within a range between 655 and 630. But the bulls will have to find support around 605 to see a move higher, because a failure at this level would mean more downside for the bears. But the price action overnight will definitely be essential for our bias going into tomorrow's stream. Now, if you're enjoying the content and appreciate the value that me and my trading partner provides to the trading community, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the release of our next NA meeting and live streams. And with that said, let's jump into an ES chart. This is an ES chart, and this is the block of price action that we traded during today's stream. And during the overnight session, the E-mini S&P opened slightly bearish, trading 19 points to the downside. However, once bulls found support, price traded higher and double topped here at Thursday's highs. And if you look closely at the price action, you can see that the bulls did make an attempt to trade price higher, which resulted in price grinding in a tight range. But once the bulls finally exhausted themselves, price traded 50 points to the downside and finding support at this right shoulder towards the end of the session. And based on this price action, this is what I'm going to be looking for. So just like the NQ, we saw a massive sell-off from the highs, and the bulls finding support towards the close of the session. And if you look at this price action, you can see that the bulls did try to buy price as it was selling to the downside, and you can tell due to all the grinding and the failures that we've seen. But if the bulls can hold this overnight, I'll be watching the reaction when price trades within a range between 653 and 648. Because this is where the bulls failed to trade price higher earlier in the session, and we saw this breaker structure. Now, if the bulls fail to hold overnight and we see price continue to trade lower, I'll be watching the reaction when price double bottoms at 619 in a range between 618 to 615. Because if the bulls are planning to step in at this area, this range is where they need to do it, because price trading underneath this range would signal more selling pressure from the bears, where I'll be watching the retest of a range between 608 and 603. We do have Nvidia earnings on Wednesday, so it will be safe to assume that the market is setting itself up for that release. Even though the bears have the momentum right now, they still have a lot of work to do if they want to continue to sell price down, because the bulls have found support in support areas. So I'll be monitoring both markets overnight to identify the best trades as we go into tomorrow's stream. And in summary, both markets opened slightly bearish. Both markets traded into a key level of supply and had massive sell-offs. And finally, both markets would have to hold overnight because a failure from the bulls will result in more downside. And that's all I have for tonight, risk managers. And you can watch us trade these concepts live by clicking this video. We'll see you there.